All right. My name is John. I'm doing this for a friend of mine, and he wants to know about the Lost Dutchman. I've been in the Lost Dutchman Society. We have a bunch of members who go back in to the mountains and take kids back in and older people and show them the different uh, monuments, different avenues of getting into the different canyons. There's lots and lots of canyons there, lots and lots of cactuses, snakes, bears, cougars, all kinds of, even scorpions. And back there in 1847, when the treasure that we're talking about, the Lost Dutchman treasure, the Ferraro family was mining back in there. They had 18 different sites and mines, quarries. They mined out gold. Anyway, the Indians massacred the family, and only 2 or 3 members got out alive back to Mexico. But the rest of the treasure that was not, picked up by the Indians and thrown back in the mines, the Indians took time and, walled these mines up, put dirt over them, put cactuses, trees, so nobody'd know where they were. But there was one mine, and that's the Dutchman's mine, that they thought was so far up in the mountain that they may not be able to find it. So they didn't even bother covering the mine entrance up at all. So anyway, in the meantime, Walsh and his partner had a friend of his from Germany, and he was kind of a miner too, and they got together and they went back up in the mountains, started mining it out, and then even they got attacked. They run out of supplies, so Joseph Walsh went back to Silver King Mine. That they had a little store there, and by that time he got back, the Indians had killed his partner, and so after that he was very secretly, he didn't tell anybody hardly anything about the mine. But this mine had been worked, and there was very rich gold in there. They've found different pieces of it that when he died in 1891, he had 48 pounds of gold in a chest under his bed. And 2 men that took the treasure, they claimed that Joseph Walsh gave it to him, but nobody knows the real true story on that. But the thing is, they made a watch case out of it. They made some match cases out of it, cufflinks and things, a bob and so forth. And so they know what the gold looks like that's been in that mine. So nobody could say they just got one out of some mine and say it was the Dutchman's. But it's a particular high grade, and it's in there. But over the years, from 1891 down to present day, there's been over 100 different deaths contributed over trying to find this mine. This mine, like friends, have killed themselves over it. People have been killed mysteriously back in there, been beheaded, shot, killed. People, even some kids from say Norway was there, 2 kids, and they went back in and they found some fool's gold, and they got thinking it was real gold, and he ended up shooting his own friend for 20 years, killed him over fool's gold. But there's real gold there, and I'm just here to, if anybody wants to get in touch with my friends and me, we'd be happy to help you out, try to give you some knowledge about it. And is there anything else you want me to say?
Keep going.
There's also other people's treasure that's been in there also, not just the Dutchman, but the Judas priests from Tucson is allegedly hid their gold back in there when they was expelled from Mexico, and up in here too, in New Mexico. And they hid their treasure also in the mountains. There's different people like Geronimo. It's hid probably supplies back in the mountains, when he was doing those raids back into Mexico and
So there are a lot of treasures hidden in those
Yeah,
mountains.
there's a lot of different things here. There's not just one gold mine or something. There's a lot of different
It's
things.
easy to hide in those Superstition Ranges. Is
Oh,
that true?
there's a lot of canyons. It's once you've seen it, you'll understand. It's not just one canyon. There's like 10 or 11 canyons. There's different places to try to look for water, because some areas very desolate. You don't have any water at all, even in the rainy season. But it's definitely it's not something to go in lightly. Take water with you. Take a gun with you. Take a knife. Take food. Because if you do get lost, there's only one way out of there, and that's either walking out or being carried out.
So what have you done? You mentioned you explored it for a number of years on horse, found a number of artifacts as well as
Yeah, I
treasures.
found a few artifacts, old Indian artifacts dated 900 years AD. Found a couple tomahawks, some shell casings. Found arrowheads, some pottery, things like that.
We would send any of our contributors or members copies and pictures of the artifacts and that sort of thing, I would assume.
Yeah.
You could also stumble across where they had hid it at any point in time. It could be just about anywhere, covered by any brush.
That's the thing. It could be covered with brush, and somebody walk right by it every day, and nobody know it was there. It's kind of one of those things that there's a trouble with that is there's 20 different books that I've read, and probably there's 20 that I haven't read also about the treasure, because everyone has an opinion. It's like you ask grandkids to tell a story, and by the end of the line it'll be a whole different story. It's the same thing with the Dutchman story. There's only a few people really know the real true facts on this. And if they don't tell you, how are you going to find it? It's a hard deal to find.
So you would follow us, and we would keep you posted as to the new
definitely.
exploration.
I've had 3 or 4 members that's been there 40, 50 years that's been looking for this treasure also, and they definitely have told me the same thing as I've done.
And
It's a hard thing to find. It's not. If it wasn't, it had been discovered by now.
so we'll send the subscribers updates and videos and still photos of your expedition. Some will be on horse, some will on mule, some on foot. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then whatever artifacts are shown that particular week, we will send you copies of that. And if we
people
close
are
in on
just
the
interested in just photographing some of the area, it's a beautiful area back in there. There's petroglyphs that the Indians had chiseled on the rocks that just show like game that's back in there, like bear, deer, lizards, sheep. There's all kind of animals back in there.
and we'll have photos of those petroglyphs as well.
Yes.
Now, how long have people been looking? You mentioned a number of people have been killed looking for the mine.
Yeah,
It's part of a legend.
I'd say at least 100 people's been killed. Well, not counting the first 300 people, but just from 1891 down to the present time, there's been at least 100 people killed. Just mysterious deaths. People been beheaded, shot, just come up missing, never found their bodies.
Anything interesting or strange that you found on the expedition for
Well,
the
a
Lost
few
Dutchman's
times.
gold mine?
I say a few times I've come in contact, you get this feeling, and it feels like you're being watched. I know this sounds a little bit ridiculous, and I was packing a gun at the time, but I just packed up my my equipment and got out of there. I just felt I was being watched, and the hair on the back of my neck stood up. It's kind of scary in some ways, because if you're out there by yourself, there's just you.
I've heard a number of people have reported that they feel like when they're there that they're being watched, and often they are, because there's many places people can hide and watch you
Oh yeah,
from various
definitely.
places.
There's people living back there. I know the rangers, they go back in every so often if they get a report that there's somebody camping there,
And there's also a Indian tribe that lives through there and that doesn't have
Well,
much
they
contact.
live near there, the San Carlos Indians. are not too far away, and those were some of the Indians that the Comanches that were with.
I thought they were
Cochise
the
and
Apaches that did that.
Apaches. Yeah,
So-
both tribes have been.
So the San Carlos and the
Yeah.
mountains themselves is where the Native Americans believe that the thunder god himself lives, and it's
Well, that's what
they avoid
that's what
those
yeah,
mountains
They wouldn't go back in there. No.
because of. There's also been sightings of at night a 10-foot skeleton that walks through campfires, and people have reported
Well,
supernatural things.
I met a couple women. This is kind of funny. The first year I was prospecting back there, this one woman, her name was Sky Woman, and she had a dog, and she come down the trail, and she asked me if she could have some coffee, and I poured her a cup of some coffee in there, and we talked for a while, and she was telling about some things that just, abnormal things that just would kind of make you want to just go pick up your camp and leave. There's kind of things back there that, I don't know if they make this stuff up or not, but there's some people that's a little bit crazy sometimes living back there in the mountains.
They
Too
believe
long.
they can also find the gold too.
Well, that's the thing. It's there. I believe it's there, and it's the same as the other people that I deal with in the Superstition Society. There, they have a club and historical society down by Goldfield down there. And there's a friend of mine, Ron Feldman, who's a friend of mine. He has the riding academy there, and I get my horses and stuff from him. So he's been doing it for 30, 40 years himself.
So you will, if you find anything, you will keep us in touch,
Oh, definitely.
and
Definitely.
we'll have a camera crew there, and you'll also be able to call us, and then if your subscribers will be the first to know if you actually find the mysterious lost Dutchman's gold mine or any other interesting things along the way, including the 900-year-old tomahawk that you found, plus other artifacts.
Yeah, I found something like that. I even went down to the Herd Museum, and they're the ones who told me that it was 900 years old.
The Herd Museum is a local Native American Indian.
Yeah, Asatazi Indians.
Anastasi, you meant? I'm sorry.
Yeah, the Asatazi Indians.
More or less, yes.
Yeah.
We'll get
It's kind
that
of hard
right.
for us English people to get these words out, but the Indian word.
Okay. At any rate, though, we know what you're talking about, and so that everybody who subscribes to us will be the first by attachment to email, by YouTube channel, and will know what you've discovered on your different trips when you're planning to camp up there pretty soon and going on another
Yeah, I'm
expedition.
planning on doing it in the next couple of weeks anyway. I'm planning on going back in there. I got to get things straightened up a little bit.
How is the petroglyphs?
They're pretty easy to get to. Shoot, you can do it in a couple hours get to those anyway. They're pretty, and it's on pretty level, flat ground.
Now, I imagine that a lot of the subscribers may not know what it's like to camp in the desert area in the mountains where Apaches live and still live. There, at night, you'll hear coyotes and things like that.
Oh yeah, you'll hear. There's a lot of wildlife still running around there. There's goats. There's burros.
Wild mountain goats.
There's live mountain goats, and even bear and cougar once in a while you'll hear. Well, no, I haven't seen only one cougar in there, but that doesn't say there isn't more.
I've seen a cougar chasing a fox around there once,
Yeah.
but you will try to get as many photos and videos of the animals as well as interesting sights.
Yeah.
Now, I'm thinking that the mine itself has been searched for many years, but you never know. You may be the lucky one to stumble on it, and our subscribers will be the first to know about this as soon as we get it, if you're the one that does. In the meantime, there's the other premiums such as knowledge of it, photographs, and we'll keep a written account of it with our crew.
I can tell you a lot of stuff there.
And we're in the search for the legend of the lost Dutchman's gold mine, which is famous. People I've talked to in Norway and Holland are familiar with it as well.
Oh yeah.
And And so there were outlaws in those mountains as well, and robberies and treasures and quite local color that our subscribers will find out about in time as we report on it.
It's
And
not too far, like, it wouldn't be too far from, say, Tombstone, which was a silver area. This is more of a gold area, but there's gold and silver and even copper up in them mountains that I know of.
there was also the Tuzigoot and the Anasazi Indians on side trips. There's Tombstone in the legend. There's also the Anasazi Indians, which had disappeared mysteriously
I think
a few
probably,
centuries
I'm
ago.
just making a guess at that, probably either Drouth. Drouth was a real killer back in the old times because of the water situation being in a desert it is, and so it only rains certain times of the year.
Well, we'll be sending you materials of the legends as well. Also, things that other anthropologists and archaeologists have found along the way. Reports. We'll also be working with the Heard Museum, which takes care of all the anthropology of that area.
Yeah, that's true.
And they have quite a record and a database, as well as photos of the different things, different artifacts. There's also Indian pots and that sort of thing. And there's also the legend of the Old West. And there's quite a bit of local color going on right now in that area. So this is what will keep you informed of, and you could read the various subscription premiums that we'll send to different subscribers to our group funding site. And I appreciate that. And we'll wrap it up for now, and we'll get your expedition going in a few weeks, and then it should be great exploring. And I'll also explore the other areas around there too, and including other southwestern attractions. So any of you would be welcome to contact us. And if you ever find yourself in the Arizona or in this area, give us a call, and we'll see about giving you a tour and telling you where you can stay and that sort of thing. So we're in Phoenix, Arizona, and you can read the more information as part of our website, our Kick Funding site, and our Facebook site. So thank you for now, and we'll be, as any last word that
Well, that's about it, I think. I think that's about it. So long, buddy.